All right. Happy Tuesday, everyone.
Hello.
How's everyone doing?
Great. Doing good.
Good. Good. So this will be really pretty quick tonight. I just want to kind of check in and see how things are going. Share a little more information about the action research plan if you have questions, and then share with you a brand new idea I have, which I'll also send out an email tomorrow about the assignment, because I just finished reading all my feedback from Section VA, which was from January to March. And some of the feedback was, give us more options for how to do this besides just the poster. So some of you may have done the poster with me in 867, or there's other people now teaching that as well. And so maybe you kind of want to do something different. So I kind of like that feedback. So I'm going to open it up to you to submit it to me. However, just what I want to know is that you know you've got the tools to do action research in your own classroom, in your careers, whatever you're doing. So I'm going to share with you that you can present it to me as a poster if you want to, but you can also create, if you want to submit it as a paper, that would be fine. If you want to submit it as a PowerPoint presentation that you talk through, that would be fine too. And if you have other ideas, shoot me some ideas, because I'm going to kind of use this as an option to maybe just express your creativity. So with that, what questions do you have, and what do you need me to kind of go over on the assignment?
I have a question.
Okay.
I found another article that would be more useful to me, and I was wondering if that's a possibility. Do I need to resubmit that to you? What do I need to do?
No, I would just go ahead and use it.
Okay.
Because I've given you feedback on your citations that you currently have, so those are great. You know, if I've given you some feedback, maybe this one doesn't go into as much depth, you might look for some more. But if you find more, Jalen, that's great.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Anyone else have any specific questions? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
When you when we do our literature review, you want that, because I just submitted mine kind of like as a paper, like I was starting a paper.
Mm-hmm.
Do we just add that to it, or do you want it like its own separate kind of thing?
Allison, however you want. That's what I'm saying. So if you want to end up adding to it like it's a paper, and then that's what you'll submit to me as the final, that would be, that's completely fine. Okay. If on the other hand you're thinking you want to do the poster option or even a PowerPoint presentation, then you can just send it to me as a separate document.
Oh, okay.
So let's talk a little bit about the literature review. How many of you have done a literature review before? A few of you have. Okay. So let me talk through that a little bit for those who have not. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, and I have this open up here. So I'm going to kind of scroll. This is the assignment instructions, which you can find right if you go to the assignments tab, and then click right here, so you can download the assignment instructions. And I've kind of written up. Let's see, where's literature review here? Just some steps to kind of go through. And what's great about a literature review, now you've got your articles, right? And hopefully last week you began reading them and did a little bit of your annotations. I don't need to see your actual annotations. That's useful for you because it kind of helps you see the parts of the article and pull out the important pieces. What you're really going to be doing is starting right here with C. You're looking for your argument. So go back to your problem and your purpose statement. What do these 5 articles tell you about your topic, right? What are they telling you? How can you combine them to tell that story? So you're using these like a debate, right? A foundational argument for your debate. So really what I think about when I'm creating a literature review, after I've read my pieces, I try to think about the logical order for putting them into, you know, so that they'll flow from one article to the next. Does that kind of make sense? So one of the things you're going to do is you might start with an article that may be very general, and you're going to pull one or two things from that article. You're going to state what the article is about, so a really good solid summary of that article. And then you're going to transition it into the next one. And one way you can do that, the simplest way is similar to so-and-so's article, these authors found yada, yada, yada. And then you're going to describe in a summary that article. And then you may discover that articles kind of contradict each other, in which point you would say, you know, a next transitional paragraph, in contrast, so-and-so found. But at the very end, the very last paragraph is going to be your summary of what this tells you, right? And really, this is your argument for why you're going to do your research in the first place. I'm really excited because a lot of you have actually found really focused things that you're working on with your students. So use this literature to help you figure out what it is you're going to do with your research, right? Some of it may be stuff you read and you're like, that's useful, it tells me this is going to work, but this isn't what I particularly want to do. That's okay, right? Use this as an argument for why you need to study what you're going to be doing with your students. And I've given you some good resources in the learning modules for this week. There's, and it's interesting because I think this week, boy, my computer is really slow. This week is when you're starting to move into content. So there's reading and math, there's content learning. Quite a few of you are doing writing, which means I probably need to pull in some writing resources in this class as well. But I think the content of this module will help quite a few of you because many of you are actually doing assistive technology in terms of content. So there's some resources in here that may be useful to you as well. Use them in your literature as well. So math and reading. But in particular, what I wanted to show you was the resources I have for writing that literature review. There's a quick video that kind of talks through how to lay out your argument here, 10-minute video. And then this link that shows you some guidelines as well. So hopefully that will help you. This is probably, of the entire assignment, this is the most time-consuming part because you're actually having to write it. Any questions about how to put that together? Okay, so I'm going to go back up here. So when you submit this to me, this will really only be about 2 to 3 pages, APA formatting, right? So that's double spaced. If you're going to do the poster, you'll continue on to E. And the reason I say this, for those of you who've done a poster before, you know that there's limited space on the poster. So even though you've created a literature review, which I'm really grading, I want to see what you're pulling out of these articles, and I'm going to give you a lot of feedback on that too. But if you're doing the poster, you're going to have to, well, actually, if you're also doing the PowerPoint presentation, you're going to have to cut that down so that you can get it into your presentation. If you just submit me the paper, then that cuts out one step for you. But if you want to be kind of creative about how you put this together, you may have to parse that down into like bullet points or some really key ideas. And so again, this is going to be the meat. This is worth 400 points. It's kind of it's your chance to show me what you've really learned about this specific topic in terms of assistive technology. And then the last piece is really your research plan. There's some steps that I'm looking for. A couple of research questions. What are you really trying to figure out? And some of you are already kind of moving in that direction with your problem and purpose statements, which is great. And then what are you going to do? How are you going to know that your assistive technology is working? So that includes also what's the data, right? So for example, if some of you are using writing technologies, you're going to probably think about, you could go this multiple ways. You could choose one technology and try it over a period of time. So you would have a pre and a post. Or you may do successive, right? Try this for 2 weeks, pre-post. Try something else for 2 weeks, pre-post, right? So it just depends on what you find in your literature review. Talk a little bit about the data you're going to collect, right? Mostly that would be whatever the assessment data is. It could be observational too. And then tell me what you think you expect to learn from this. And if it doesn't turn out the way you expected, what would you do next? And then of course your references, which you've already got, which is great. All right. So what other questions do we have? I'm going to stop sharing so I can see you all. There we are. No questions. You're making this easy. So don't worry too much about this. I want this really to be a learning process and actually kind of a fun project, which is why I'm giving you more options if you don't want to do the poster. But the key thing is, has always been from the beginning of this class, I want you to expand your understanding of what assistive technology is and think about in particular how you can use it with all of your students differently. I think so much, and this came out in your first discussions, which was absolutely great. So many times we think assistive technology is just for students with low incidence disabilities, right? Students who can't speak, who struggle with hearing, vision, etc. But the reality is technology is great for all of our students. So I'm hoping, and I'm really excited about what's coming out today when I read through your citations and your problems and purposes. I think you're grasping that, and I think you're going to become really great resources in your school for your general ed colleagues on how they can think about technology different, not just instructional technology, but assistive technologies. All right. Well, we don't have much time left. I'll show you, I'll share one more time. Everybody's got well, I say I'm going to share and I don't click to do that. Our timeline. So we've got our schedule. Next thing, major thing, you got another discussion response coming up this week. Literature review is due in about a week and a half. This is the big week for me because I need to get this turned around for you so I can give you some feedback before you turn in your final. But again, if you have questions along the way, please don't hesitate to give me a quick email and I'll be happy to talk through things. I'll be happy to look at things if you want me to look at them too.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much. It's great to see you all.
I was going to tell you, I'm sorry about Texas Tech.
Oh.
Sorry.
I was a Red Raider. My undergraduate degree, which was a long time ago, was from Texas Tech. So believe you me, I was very sad last night.
Yeah.
But pretty excited that they got that far. So, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe next year. That coach is phenomenal. So I'm pretty excited about watching that team next year too.
Oh, yeah.
But thank you.
Yep. I was rooting for him. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, everyone have a great night. It's good
Thank
to see you again.
Have a good evening.
Okay, bye.
Bye.